sincerely sorry that we don't have a ramp.
This was me arguing with the manager of a venue after they said it was wheelchair accessible online, but actually when we went there it wasn't, and they brought out a cardboard box for me to use as a ramp. This was a venue in London, a popular venue in London, and we really need to be doing better for wheelchair users.
This TikTok highlights how accessibility in London is still a problem, especially when it comes to nightlife. According to the most recent census, Islington and Camden have the highest proportion of disabled people, and also the highest proportion of people saying that their daily lives are affected by their disability. The census only asked about disability as an umbrella term. There are no boxes for different disabilities. This could mean the data is pretty generic.
I hadn't been made aware of that one, to be honest with you. And it's exactly the type of monolithic, singular identification that doesn't really benefit anybody. And it's actually indicative of a kind of a rhetoric at the moment that's really divisive. So that leaves me and other people going, well, where's the change coming from? Like, where is it?
That was Roisin Clear and Talitha Kazor, and I'm delighted to say they can both join us now in the studio. Now, Roisin, can you tell us more about your experiences?
Yeah, so essentially, I went out with my friends. I wanted to celebrate a birthday, and essentially, we checked that it was accessible online. They said it was accessible. We called up as well, and when I got there, actually it wasn't. It transpired that they didn't have a ramp and they didn't have the correct provisions for me as a wheelchair user. And essentially, one of the bodyguards brought out a cardboard box for me to use as a ramp. And when I actually complained about this and said, look, this isn't right in terms of accessibility, and more needs to be done for it. It needs to be better than this. I got told beggars can't be choosers, which, as a wheelchair user, I want to go out and celebrate with my friends. I should have access to the same opportunities that they do, but it really just kind of put a downer on the night, unfortunately.
Of course, and I'm just looking at the TikTok here, and obviously it's gained quite a lot of traction recently. And if you read some of the comments, it's talking about obviously the shock and horror that you had to use cardboard as a replacement for a ramp, and also the fact that venues like this need to do more. What more do you think needs to be done?
I think more needs to be done to think creatively about how to include disabled people, and a good first step would be to get a proper ramp. And also when a disabled person is saying, look, this isn't accessible or acceptable, they need to be listened to and not talked down to. When I actually did mention that this is how I feel, they were very dismissive. And as I said before, I got told beggars can't be choosers, so you're likening a disabled person to you're putting a negative connotation on that disabled person. And I just think we just need to be listened to more, I feel.
And Talitha, if we look at this issue more generally, what are the overall impacts for the disabled community?
So, speaking to campaigners, it's not just about, for example, in Rosie's case, having the ramp there, but like she said, it's about actually tailoring those experiences for disabled people so that their needs are met, but also so that they can enjoy those experiences in the same way that non-disabled people would be able to. In the case of this venue, a ramp would have been a great start, but for example, there's an upstairs space that somebody in a wheelchair would not be able to access. So it's, again, about not just looking at access, but actually looking at the whole experience itself.
Well, I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us, and Roisin, thank you very much for sharing your experience.
Thank you.